Welcome to section 5.2. This is the 54th session of the ISACA CISA exam prep series. In this session, we'll cover the physical and environmental side of security. We'll answer several questions. What environmental threats put your equipment at risk? How do you control them? How do you stop the wrong people walking in? And what makes industrial control systems so fragile? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because the best firewall in the world is useless if someone floods the server room. Picture a data center humming along in a coastal city. A storm knocks out power. A pipe bursts above the racks. A stranger tailgates through the loading door. Often these controls are owned by facilities, not technology. So as an auditor, you make sure nothing falls through the cracks. Let's start with power. What kinds of power failure should you know? There are 4. A blackout is a total loss of power. A brownout is a sustained drop in voltage. Sags, spikes, and surges are quick dips and jumps. And electromagnetic interference comes from storms or noisy equipment. Each can corrupt data or damage hardware. How you respond depends on how long the interruption lasts. For very short blips, use surge protectors. For interruptions up to about half an hour, use an uninterruptible power supply. For longer outages, you need a backup generator. What about water? Water damage is a threat even on high floors. A burst pipe upstairs can flood a top-floor server room. So you plan for leaks no matter where the equipment sits. So how do you control these environmental risks? With a layered set of safeguards. Start with detection. Place water detectors under raised floors and near drains. Put smoke detectors over the ceiling panels, beneath them, and under the raised floor. Both should sound an audible alarm and reach a monitored station. An alarm control panel should be separate, weatherproof, and on its own circuit. Then add suppression. Keep handheld fire extinguishers tagged and inspected yearly. Place manual pull alarms near exits. And install an automatic fire suppression system that triggers on high heat. Let's stay on fire suppression for a moment. How do these systems apply their agent? 2 ways. Total flooding fills an entire enclosed room with the agent. Local application sprays the agent directly onto the fire. The difference is whether barriers enclose the space. You should also recognize the common system types. A wet pipe sprinkler always holds water in the pipes, which can leak. A dry pipe system holds the water back until an alarm triggers. And there are clean chemical agents, often preferred around electronics. Because testing is expensive, you may simply review the inspection records. Just confirm it was tested within the last year. Where should the computer room itself sit? Not the basement, where it could flood. Not the top floor, which is exposed. A middle floor is the sweet spot. Avoid placing it next to water pipes or high-risk areas like paper storage. And consider the neighbours, like a nearby chemical plant. What other building controls protect the room? Several work together. The surrounding walls should be fireproof, floor to true ceiling, with a solid fire rating. Surge protectors guard against power spikes. An uninterruptible power supply cleans the power and bridges short outages. You want 2 emergency power off switches, one inside the room and one just outside. Label them clearly, but shield them from accidental bumps. Run 2 power feeds from separate substations, so one failure doesn't go dark. Place wiring in fire-resistant conduit. Ban food, drink, and smoking inside the facility. Use fire-resistant office furniture. Keep a documented, tested evacuation plan that still leaves the room secure. And monitor temperature and humidity on a regular schedule. Now let's switch from the environment to people. What are the physical access exposures? Things like unauthorized entry, theft, vandalism, and eavesdropping. Who are the likely culprits? Sometimes disgruntled or terminated employees. Sometimes outsiders like competitors or thieves. But here's the key insight. The most likely source is the careless, uninformed person. The biggest impact, though, usually comes from someone with malicious intent. So how do you control physical access? By limiting entry to people management has authorized. Start with locks. A bolting lock uses a traditional key stamped "Do Not Duplicate." A combination lock uses a keypad, and you change the code regularly. An electronic lock uses a card or token, and that's the strongest. Why? Because you can tie a card to one person, restrict it by door or hour, and deactivate it instantly. Then add logging. Have visitors sign a manual log and show identification. Capture electronic logs that flag failed attempts. Require identification badges with a different color for visitors. Add video cameras at strategic points, recording in enough detail to identify a face. Use security guards alongside the cameras. Escort every visitor. And light the perimeter well, because criminals avoid bright areas. A few special controls are worth calling out. What is a man trap? It's a two-door entry where the first door must lock before the second opens. This stops piggybacking when someone slips in behind an authorized person. Use a single staffed entry point and seal off unused doors. Keep the computer room invisible from outside, with no windows or signs pointing to it. And remember the golden rule. Human safety always comes before protecting the equipment. Last topic. What makes industrial control systems so fragile? These are the systems that run power, water, and transportation. They were built decades ago for a world with few threats, so they carry serious weaknesses. Many don't authenticate the commands they receive. Many run aging hardware too weak for modern encryption. Many lack network segmentation or proper input validation. And third-party engineers often work on-site unmonitored. So how do you secure them? Build an asset inventory and monitor network baselines. Segment the network with firewalls that understand these protocols. Enforce least privilege, even where access controls are rare. Deploy intrusion detection and prevention. Secure both remote and physical access. Build in redundancy for the most critical components. Harden the systems and have an incident response plan ready. And check the security of every vendor in your supply chain. So let's bring it together. Environmental controls protect against power loss, fire, and water. Physical access controls keep the wrong people out. Detection, suppression, and smart placement work as layers. Industrial control systems need extra care because they're old and exposed, and human safety always wins. Get the physical layer right, and your logical controls finally have a fortress to stand in. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.